Welcome back to Fresh Squeeze. We got episode 39 in the building. We got Maddie and Mr. Miles McDowell.
Damn,
Come
mister.
all the way from, he ain't that old, y'all.
That's what I'm thinking.
Nah. All the way from Nashville on the account of fuck the Florida Gators.
Yes, sir, Ski.
I think we can all agree on that. And we're all drinking water, but a cheers is necessitated.
Hydration.
It's important. What are they?
Especially after last weekend. Everyone should be drinking their water and getting their nutrients.
What are they putting in that Knoxville water?
That's all I've been drinking since Saturday. I didn't even drink on Sunday.
Didn't even drink on Sunday?
Well, like not like after I went to sleep.
You saying Saturday at
4
midnight
on Sunday.
Don't forget, I need you kind of
okay.
Yeah.
After I went to sleep on Sunday night at 4 a.m. Sunday morning 4 a.m. I did not do no more drinking since then.
So, okay, the game, that was wild. We beat Florida. That was amazing.
Crazy.
But another part, you're not just here because of the game. You're here because you Miles McDowell, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're part of, hold on, I had your card somewhere.
Y'all lost my card already?
Dude,
Let him talk. Let the man speak. Let him introduce himself.
I didn't lose his card.
Yeah, he probably did.
He did.
Well,
he just doesn't want to admit it.
It's crazy because we was having a conversation about that the other day, like me and some coworkers and some clients, just about like, you know, if you really want to have a business card these days, like most people really just lose them. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't gonna use them. You know what I mean?
It might already be in my wallet.
What if you could do a digital business card?
If it's in your
store it in your notes.
Yeah, if it's in your wallet, I would be super impressed.
I'd also be impressed with myself too. I'm making sure there's no outliers.
I'd be super duper impressed with you.
Okay, so you were the house dad.
I was the house dad
right? For Sigma
for Sigma Nu on UT campus. Yeah.
And then now you're big chilling in Nashville.
Big chilling
in Nashville.
I wouldn't call it chilling. I'm playing.
What
I'm
part
working.
of Nash are you in?
I live downtown.
The best part.
Yeah, I was like, I ain't gonna lie, Nashville's growing so much, that it's like I was living in the suburbs at first,
and now the city came to you.
No, I came to the city because I was like, man, I'm tired of sitting in traffic. It's like, what's the point of when you go corporate America? Like, you can low-key get off early on Fridays. You know what I'm saying? Like, Fridays is kind of like your 3-4 p.m. day. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, what's the purpose of getting off early if you got to go sit in traffic for a whole hour? I'm going to just live 5 minutes down the road from where I work.
Nash is turning into California with everyone moving, migrating this way. Would you agree?
It's definitely not any... the transportation system got to change.
You got to figure that out.
They got to figure something out because
DOT, get on that.
It's like
take
crazy.
5 years.
It's crazy.
Really, fix those potholes while you're at it.
Hey, fun fact about potholes. You know, if you damage your car on any state road and you can document it and you send it to the state, they will actually reimburse you for repair charges.
Interesting.
That's lit. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, but that's how you. It's kind of like getting a cash rebate or something like that for let's say you sign up for a new phone plan. They're like $200 rebate. All you got to do is it's a mail-in rebate. You got to call like 6 weeks later and they'll send you $200. People just don't do that.
But who picks the price? You know, like who picks the amount that you get? Like, so, you know, it's gonna be more expensive to fix a Benz than it is to fix a Ford Taurus.
Yeah,
you
but
know
if
what I'm
you
saying?
get on the mile marker and the exact spot of the pothole, they go verify it, and you're like, "This is what happened." It was something like to the undercarriage or something valid.
Yeah.
Or your tire blows out or something.
Mm-hmm.
They will reimburse you if you send them an itemized list of the expenses you incurred because of their faulty building of a road or maintenance.
Yeah.
People just don't follow up on that. But
why would you? So many people are lazy nowadays.
That's all I'm about to say.
It'll be like, what mile marker was it? And you're like, I can't.
Like I know.
Yeah.
And that's how they get you. It's just because
mile marker,
I don't know this shit like the back of my hand. I couldn't just be like, yeah, I know where I was.
As a lawyer, it's just so many more questions to that. Like, how do we know that it happened right there?
Or
You
maybe
know what I'm
we're
saying?
supposed to be looking at the mile markers when we're driving. Maybe we're all fucking it up.
I kind of do be, but like,
Is that a
Not
safety
really.
thing?
Depending on where I'm going. Like if I'm going to
I had a drunk driver almost hit me when I was in Nashville a couple years ago, and I called 911 because they were swerving, like they were gonna die or kill someone, right?
Mhm.
And they asked me the mile marker, and I couldn't tell you. I was like, and then they were like, "What direction are
they're
you
like, "Are
going?"
you
I'm
drunk?"
like, "Am I supposed
Exactly.
to
That's
know?"
the first question that came to my mind.
We're sending an
Last
officer
time I
out to check
checked.
on you. Oh
Mm.
shit, yeah. All right. I'm gonna just bust into it. What is the thing right now as a professional in law? What is the biggest thing that grinds your gears? What is your biggest like gripe?
Being a lawyer
Like not about the actual
or just
profession.
just
I'm
period.
saying with the people you work with and the stuff you like encounter. What is your biggest gripe with it? Like, is it specific to like a court system, like stuff needing to be changed in the way that we do things? Is it some type of injustice? Is it what is that thing that you're like, you know what? Like I'm glad that I wake up every day, put my lawyer shoes on, and this is what I feel like I'm getting one step closer to like correcting or helping an issue in this society.
Hey, I mean, you got all day. Like, yeah, yeah.
This is what we're here for.
I mean, it's just so many issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as a young lawyer, like you don't even know like the half of the issues. Like I can't even say half of the issues because I haven't been exposed to every single situation yet. You know what I'm saying? You'll have to ask me 20 years down the line if I could identify all the issues, but there's just so many issues. Like you will never understand like, having an innocent client. You know what I'm saying? Cuz I've had innocent clients now already. Um and just the barriers that you got to break. The system is supposed to be like innocent until proven guilty, but in reality it's really
Guilty until
guilty until
proven
proven
innocent.
innocent. Like, hey, nobody can change my mind about that because the steps that you got to go through, the process that you got to go through. Um, most of the time when people get arrested, like they go to general sessions court, and you get a probable cause hearing, which basically is saying like anytime somebody gets arrested, you gotta have probable cause. You know what I'm saying? And when you get arrested, you get this hearing. It's called a preliminary hearing, and basically it's the state's burden to prove by a probable cause that you are guilty. Just a probable cause. When you actually
Yeah.
go to trial, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. But just probable cause that they had the right to arrest you. And I've been to like a few of those now, and it's like the proof that was put on said nah. Like their witness, the state's witness said nah, he wasn't involved. But the court still bound it over to the grand jury. I mean, it's like, how can you do that when you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
the rule is supposed to be probable cause. You had a victim, alleged victim, get up
Allegedly.
on there and say that, your person wasn't involved, but they still find probable cause.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work? Like at that point, it just becomes like a rubber stamp. And
Yeah.
so that's like
But does
that's a
that
big gripe.
boil down more to who's in charge of that court at that time, Or is
Like the
that just
district
a worldwide
or wait,
phenomenon?
worldwide or would we let's
I would
keep
say,
it national,
US. Yeah.
Yeah,
domestic. Um yeah, do you think it comes down to like a by the district like there's like a shitty DA that somehow now I'm not saying to Nashville or anything specific because there can't just be like some communication to a police department from a DA where it's like, hey, just letting you know, you can get away with this.
right,
You
right,
know, well, on paper, obviously, or anything
right.
directly said.
Yeah,
And so, where do you get to? Where's the chase, and how do you cut to that part?
it's it's definitely a problem that's like national.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
oh,
saying?
1,000%.
I do a lot of criminal defense. I probably say like 70% of my practice is criminal defense.
What kind of cases? When you
All
say
kinds of different
criminal,
cases.
what are
You
the
got
majority of the cases you've had thus far?
drug cases, robberies, kidnappings.
Okay.
I'm just in my first year too, so I have ambitions to be like one of those people that can like really, you know, be like on TV, like court TV, CNN, like, oh, this person got charged with murder, and you know, Miles McDowell is his attorney. Like those are my kind of ambitions on that.
Or
You know what
you're
I'm
like an
saying?
analyst too,
Yeah, that too.
where it's
Yeah.
like where you're saying, "Hey, American people, this is how it's probably gonna go,
Oh yeah.
or this is how it should, or vice
Yeah.
versa." And those are really cool things too. And it's kind of like we were saying before we started recording, is it's not a if but a when,
Definitely.
and
Definitely.
so Maddie's just meeting Miles today, right?
Yeah.
But on Instagram, one of my favorite things of people to follow is Miles, because his name on Instagram is Mr. Take It to Trial,
Yes, sir, ski.
right? And that's some baller ass shit, because it's like, yo, if Miles is going into court with somebody, I know that they're going out of court and the prosecutor is guilty.
You're
Just
wrong.
just with that energy, like that's how I feel. Like it's like I already had. It's like I got Mike Tyson in the corner fighting for me. You know,
Absolutely.
It's
that's the
kinda like you
energy.
said. It's kinda like you said, you know what I'm saying? Not the if, but the when. You know what I'm saying? And so I kinda channel that energy, you know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Young Thug and Gunna and, um, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of them, because, like, they had dropped that song, and they had dropped a song called Take It to Trial, before all the Rico stuff and shit had happened. But, like, at the time that they had dropped it, I was, like, getting ready to study for the bar exam. So, anything like, I had made a whole playlist about it. I'm like, anything that rap song that I listened to before that I really liked that mentioned anything about my lawyer or take it to trial or anything related to, like, the law, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just put all them songs on the playlist, and I was like, every day, just listening to the playlist, like, going to work out, listening to
Get
the
in the
playlist,
mindset.
and just, like, getting in a mindset of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can be that lawyer that take it to
You
trial
are
or
that.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
am, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But at the time, it was like I can be because I hadn't passed the bar exam yet, you know what I'm saying? And now I listen to it on the way to court, and I'm like,
that's me.
"That's me." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, we going to court, we going to beat the case,
Make you feel
we
even
going to
better.
take it to trial,
Put
you know
But
what
the
I'm
you bring
saying?
that energy into the room. When you
Yeah.
first walked in, that was the energy you brought. That's what you want to feel. If you were
Yeah.
my lawyer, that I wouldn't want someone who's bringing this down, sad.
I don't know how this is gonna go,
Oh,
chief.
they're probably going to lose another one,
Nah.
Heck no.
Hey, I will say, listen to your lawyer. Listen to him. I'm not even specifically talking about. Well, I guess I should say, listen to your lawyer. They will guide you. I'm being gender neutral. Women can be lawyers too, and they are. But listen to them. Listen to them. I've had one too many just like stories I've heard of where it's like, oh, this guy, like my lawyer said I wouldn't go to jail, and then it's like they like violated probation or something. It's like, well, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen? Like you can only pay them so much to do their job, but at the end of the day, you gotta
Can't fix stupid, though.
you make this bed, you gotta sleep in it.
Indeed.
You can't just be like, why is this shit happening?
Indeed.
Like and it also has always bothered me too, where if there's a lawyer that is genuinely actually not just money grubbing, they're trying to help their client, right?
Yeah.
And let's say it's a drug charge. They get to court and it's something like a follow up where they're like, oh yeah, like this is the one to show the judge that you're on the right track. Piss is dirty. Like, and now on top of that, you're making the lawyer look stupid. When this person had an entire time great intentions for you, did not want you to fucking go to jail or be away from your family or yada yada yada.
Mhm.
Like, listen to your lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, they literally went to school for this.
Yeah.
Listen to them.
I mean, the thing is, though, um, you know, it does always fall back on the client. Like, you gotta have a client that's willing to put the work in. You know what I'm saying? I've dealt with different types of cases and stuff, and it's like your client gotta give some. Like, you can only do so much as an attorney. You know what I'm saying? But your client's gotta be, you know what I'm saying? If you want the
You're
case dismissed, you
helping lead
can't
the
get
way,
in
and you're
trouble.
hoping that they're going to
It
choose that
Yeah.
path.
it's
But, maybe those people are there to learn that lesson the difficult way.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
they're supposed to,
Right.
go through the harder route.
It's like
Maybe that's what's gonna help them learn and grow in the long
it's
run.
like if someone else checks you into rehab or if you check yourself in. Like this, I've heard the same thing. Too many anecdotes where someone goes to rehab and 3 months later they're back on the shit doing something stupid. Well, it's because if they were put in there by somebody else or whatever, they never wanted it for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, if that, even though you could have the best lawyer in the world, but if that client doesn't want the best for themselves and they're just fuck it, I'm digging myself a hole, I'm throwing myself a shovel, it's never gonna do anything.
But listen though, Rob, because I'm glad that you brought that up, rehab. You know what I'm saying? We as a society, you know what I mean? We gotta rethink what is
Rehabilitation.
but what is a crime?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that 1000%.
Because like you was just talking about like, oh, you have a client, they gotta be wanting to do good for themselves. Why is a person that's addicted to drugs that needs rehab, why is that a person that's circulating in the criminal justice system?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta do better for our people from the simple standpoint of like, what is the cause of you being addicted to these
But how are
drugs?
you
Instead
gonna
just
change that until you take away the fact that these people circulating through the system are a product? They're creating
Yeah,
money
yeah.
for other people,
they got to.
you
We
Eh,
know?
will
So
get
until
into
you fix
private
that
prisons.
problem,
yeah.
But yeah, no, it has to be a social issue, for sure. Like, have you seen what they're doing up in Seattle and I know it's Canada, but
Oregon also.
Vancouver, where they now have they have stations where you can go where there's nurses and there's a doctor on site where you can go get a clean needle and you can shoot
Mhm.
up and you don't have to worry about getting arrested or anything.
Yeah.
It's a harm reduction center and that's where a lot of people will lose me of where they're like, oh, they're saying go do heroin. No, I'm not saying go do heroin. I'm saying there are so many more benefits to, oh, if someone is a professional on site that can administer no or Narcan, I almost said Novocaine,
Mhm.
or something like that, and then you can also go home with resources,
Yeah.
and you're getting clean needles, so you're not giving the community hepatitis.
Mhm.
Healthcare goes down. All these other things that would normally be inflicted, the police can focus on murderers and rapists instead of someone that's just addicted to drugs who really might not be of really harming society other than maybe like stealing or something like that. Or,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, someone stealing like a pack of gum is way less worse than someone killing or violating a person, you know?
But the question that we need to get down to is not whether or not they still stole the gum or gun, um, but why did they steal the gum?
Yeah, I
You know what
agree
I'm
with that.
saying? Was it because they're not educated enough to get a job to be able to make a living wage? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
it's
it's
not
so
binary
much
code.
more than just, oh, this person's a thief, this person is a criminal, this person, you know what I'm saying, shot and killed this
Most of
person been
those
selling
people don't have the
drugs.
resources they
Yeah.
need
Did we
to
teach them
get
how to
into
fish,
society, though.
or did we only teach them how to eat fish?
You feel me? Like that's
Like,
what you gotta look at. Like what is the reason behind all of this? You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up around a lot of different, like I'm very diverse. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up around a lot of different cultures, a lot of different, races, whatever, economic classes.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, it's just like some economic classes, lower economic classes, they feel like that's the only way. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Everybody that came out of their hood, the way that they came up and got their bread was because they was selling dope.
They
You know what
So,
I'm
didn't know any
saying?
better,
and
though.
we've touched on this before in an episode. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head where it's like my only way out of this is either to trap, go to the league,
Hmm.
or like win the lottery or some
That's
shit.
that's all they talking about in the
Yeah.
shows. You know what I'm saying?
And so it's perpetuated with stuff like that. And uh, to give you a side like a segue, like a tangent. You watch the Boondocks?
Yeah, of course.
Have you seen the band episode about BET? It's on HBO now because
Okay.
HBO bought the rights, but BET because it was slanderous against BET.
It was a
And
award show.
they're in the huh?
Was that the awards show episode?
No, it was when they gave Uncle Ruckus his own TV show, and it
Okay.
was because for anybody that watches Boondocks, Uncle Ruckus does not. He's got what revitiligo or whatever. He's really white, so he doesn't like black people. Anyways, yada yada yada. They put a BET film crew to follow him around
hmm
to literally, and they're doing the meta commentary of these board members of BET sitting back, and they're like, "How can we make these like African American people like think this is the only?" They're stuck to almost like a
Exactly.
caste system, and it's perpetuating for them to just keep on in the same cycle.
Yeah.
Uh, and that that in of itself, like you were saying, that's all that they show on TV and stuff.
It's all you hear in the music, though,
Yeah,
too. I
and
mean, it's
Everything.
everything.
Everything. Let's talk about music for a second.
It's a great
You
one.
know what I'm saying? Because here's the
Look
thing.
at the lyrics.
Here's the thing. So many people nowadays get offended when a white person say nigga. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's like I don't care if you say nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you're like singing a song with the word in it. Like every show, every, you know what I'm saying, music video, everything got the word in it at this point in time.
yeah,
It's not Nigga, not Nigger
yeah,
or
huge difference.
Negreo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like it's in everything now. It's popular, you know what I'm saying? If I'm in the hood or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or I'm talking to a client or whatever, it's oh, you a real nigga. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or you are that's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we get offended if a white person say it to a song or a white person say, "Oh, that's my nigga" or whatever. Like I feel like as long as you're not using it like disrespectfully, like, "Oh, you know what I'm saying, he's just being a nigga," you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
like as slander,
Yeah.
it's just like every other word, like context. Kind of like with females, like they'll call each other like, "Hey, bitch," like you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah,
like they
it's
be
all about
like,
the tone of
you
your
know what I'm saying. It's
energy.
all about the tone and the way that it comes off, rather
You can't say it
than
over
just the
text.
word.
You
You
can't just
feel
like,
me?
"Sup, bitch?" You know?
Yeah.
But you can't.
But
But
no, but some girls do
I
be
mean,
like
you
yeah,
that.
can,
Some
you
yeah.
girls
know,
do be like,
depends on your
"Bitch,
But
what you
relationship.
doing?" You know what I'm saying?
the only
How you doing, bitch?
Exactly.
the
Like,
only ground I have for what you were talking about is the only time that has ever like been like, man, that ain't right, is when I think I saw it was a Kendrick concert and like in the song he put the mic up to, or what, maybe
yeah,
it wasn't Kendrick.
it
No,
was
that
But
Kendrick. It was a
and
Kendrick
and
concert.
and but she said the word and he was like, that ain't cool. I'm like, but you
Yeah.
put the mic up to her
And you know
face.
what lyrics was
So
coming up.
so like were you setting her up or what? And also when you think of that word with having color associated with it, you're the one being racist, not the person that's just saying it because it's in a song. And also there's already white people that are already like, oh no, I don't
they'll get
like
mad at
it.
you for saying
it-
you're
the-
colorblind or something like
and
that.
it's like I don't
But I wasn't
even
even putting that
yeah.
connotation on it.
So
No,
once people start being
think about it that way, you know?
more often than not, it's white people that will tell other white people, and I'm like, this isn't your, you can't tell other white people. It's not up to you to, you know,
Indeed. Indeed. And that's
like
why you gotta be aware of your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Because what you can say around me may not be the same thing that you can say around
yeah,
somebody else. Like somebody else might be offended. And that's the big thing about like, you know, everything really nowadays. It's like if you look at anything, you know, some people feel like just because they are offended means that everybody that's
fall in
their
line.
same,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, race should be offended
it's
or
not a
it's
monolith.
like, but it's not
Y'all
like
aren't a
that
monolith.
though.
It's not a
It's not
monolith.
like that.
Like
Because just because we're singing Freaky Friday and you say, I'm that nigga, I'm that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you say that part, like, to me, that's like saying I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? You know the one song, the Beats commercial back in the day, I'm the
mhm.
man, I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? He's saying the same exact thing. He's just using a different word. And
It's
it's
like,
like,
dude,
yeah,
if I hear a black friend say it to another black friend of mine or a white friend,
yeah,
I'm not like, oh, he's using that word. It's the same as if you were just like, hey, bro, or dude, or hey,
Maybe those
yeah.
hey,
people are
My
just
dumbass.
guy. That's
Yeah,
my It's my guy.
Maybe those people are just so scared to deal with themselves and chill with themselves for a little bit that they have to worry about other people, right? So
Exactly.
that's where that comes from.
Exactly.
They let
If
other
if
people
you've
think for
noticed,
them.
people who sit back and chill, they're dealing with themselves more.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of it.
Nah.
Dude, they don't care because they know that if it doesn't affect them,
Who cares?
why do you it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Who cares?
If you're still worried about who's got the authority on it, then I'm light years ahead of you. I'm not here to push envelopes. I'm just here to chill. Like,
Yeah.
if your priority is like, other than, I mean, everybody got to bust ass and do that, yada yada yada.
Of
But
course.
if your priority for when you're in your leisure time is just like how I can have the most fun with my friends, and not like how can I get pissed off today. Like those are the people that fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like,
People actually say, "I wanna get pissed off today."
I mean,
Never.
probably.
I
Could
never
you
feel like that.
They
imagine?
wake up out of bed, and I mean, that's where you get the term Karen.
Yeah.
Maybe, but no, I think that
And
goes
that's
a lot of
not.
different
But
ways.
have you ever
That
thought
stems
about
from a lot
have
of
you
That's
ever
not
thought about
limited to
some of
white
this shit
people,
though?
though.
Like think about some of this shit though. Like, and I'm not saying that all these situations be cool, but like some of these folks real deal. Like I always think about that one Kanye song. You know what I'm saying? Like just imagine if you caught me on a wild day.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know
I'm
what I'm
saying. Those
saying? Like,
Karens
hey,
that are all put in a box, what if that was just the tipping point? What if
yeah,
a billion other things happened that day and someone was just sitting with their
Yeah.
phone like they do because cancel culture and they'd
mhm,
rather video than step in and say something or help.
exactly.
That's the world we live in.
I don't
It's our
even believe in
reality.
cancel
But
culture.
I really do feel like there are shitty people, yes, but in a lot of situations, that's
Bad day.
just the
People are just having a bad day.
tip
And
of the iceberg.
I agree
Just
with that completely
break the
too.
camel's back.
And not even necessarily that they having a bad day.
People are
It
impatient.
may could have been their worst day.
Or worse, weak.
And they could have made
Could have
exactly.
just got fired.
They could have had 20. And that's why I don't judge anything off a 30-second clip on Instagram or a minute and a half clip on Instagram.
Well,
You know what I'm
also because if
saying?
you get emotional, then they already won.
Exactly.
Like,
But what
if
did they go through that week? It's been plenty of times where I've been in a situation where I may have went off on somebody or, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily that small thing that you did pissed me off to the point where I had to go off on you. It was just built up, built up, built up. And then that small thing that you did, it just kind of like ended up being the straw that broke the
Yeah,
camel's
nah,
back.
it
Like
was.
I had to go off, bro. I've
Yeah,
been through so much shit.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And then you get it out though, and instead of you balling that up, and you go even crazier, you cool off. Maybe might not be that same day, might not be the same hour. But eventually, you're like, if it's someone you give a fuck about or you're gonna see again, you're like, you know what? After like recollect with myself, I'm like, that was a little out of pocket.
me too.
You know,
I'm like that.
but it had to happen at the time that it did,
Mhm.
or I would have been like, it would have just been an atrocious situation for everybody.
It wouldn't have been right.
But you got to get stuff like that out, or it'll eat you alive.
Yeah. I
Like,
absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
But people just need to find healthier outlets. I think if everyone had a healthy outlet that they could work through on a daily basis, it'd change a lot of different
I
things and
think,
mindsets.
and I think that goes back to the entertainment, not just music, just everything that we are shitstormed with. Is there? That's not what sells a possible healthy outlet. What sells is fast fashion, fast culture, whatever, instant gratification, whatever the fuck
Absolutely.
it might be. Kind of where you're saying, why is this person stealing?
Right.
People don't want to be like, why is this person the way they are right now? Why are they not able to handle that they're having a bad day? We don't take into account all this other shit to empathize with the people.
We don't.
And instead we're just like, fuck you.
It go back to the same shit. And this is really what, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be real. I don't support Donald Trump, but that's really what he was talking about when he was talking about like fake media, because the media can put a narrative out there and people will all subscribe to that narrative.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But in reality, they don't ever take the chance or the second or the minute or however long it takes to step back and be like, let me put myself in their shoes. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm so passionate about like criminal defense. You know what I mean? Because like in another life, first of all, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, actually, I'm really mixed. Like my mom is white and my dad is black, but it's like because of my skin color and what the population of like prisons and stuff are, like in another life or maybe one wrong turn in my life, like I could have been on the other side. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, a lot of things are really the same. Like drug wars and stuff between gangs over territory, it's kind of just like in the business world when businesses and pharmaceutical companies and different stuff like that have their own territories. You know what I'm saying? Like there are no Krogers in California. It's called a whole different name.
Safeway.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like that's not their territory.
Yeah.
But you know what? If they
Just
pop
like
up one
Publix in
over
Florida.
there, yeah, exactly. But if they pop up one over there, then people gonna get mad if they pop up next door to the what you just say the name
Safeway,
was
yeah.
to the Safeway. You know what I'm saying? They
Safeway
gonna get pissed
Wheelers.
off and they gonna sue and be like, oh, this is interference with business contracts and different stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Instead of shooters, they got
Instead of
lobbyists.
shooters, exactly.
Yeah.
They're gonna send bread to the government to
Yeah.
change the laws to be like, okay, I can be there.
They're gonna put their old ex-CEO in charge of the FDA.
Right.
You know.
But in our world, it was just never organized like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, slaves and stuff, you can't go to court. The courts back in the day said that slaves wasn't even a real
And
person.
they'd be like, they have court. Or whatever
Exactly.
they try to tell you. They're like, we'll give you a fair
They was
trial.
property.
And they're like, you just get up and they're like, guilty.
Right. Exactly.
What you mean? I didn't even get to say anything.
It's
yet.
crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like, I was telling Maddie a couple of days ago, it's like comedy. Comedy is super important because it highlights how like it can make fun of the most atrocious shit.
Yeah.
Right. So like brings me back to like the Key and Peele auction block scene.
Yeah.
You ever seen that? Like even though
Oh, yeah.
they're making jokes right there, but really like that's how it was. Where they're like they weren't complaining about not getting auctioned off, but that was that was real. Where they're just as if they couldn't
Like,
even
dang,
they're
$1?
They're like they're like that's a strapping young man. Like let's get him. They're literally just like saying his stats.
Yeah.
Like it's casual and it just I'd buy him. Blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Like. But if it wasn't funny, they couldn't just be like, here's a skit about how fucked up shit used to be.
They stimulate us so much with phones, technology, TVs, the idea of partying, all these things that they sell as good, fashion, like fast fashion,
Sex.
all these things
Sex
to
up.
keep your mind off of what you guys were just talking about, the things that really matter, the things that need to be broken down and rebuilt,
Yeah.
Because if you're not thinking about those things, you're just going to continue this revolving door and you're not going to change.
The
You're going
shit
to
show
stay,
keeps going.
That's what I'm saying.
As
I mean,
always.
Yeah.
just
As always.
Yeah, it's a bad revolving door at that too, because the people up top, if they're already in power, they don't give a fuck if the other guy's in power or black, white, yellow, whatever the fuck. They're like, oh, you're a billionaire too? I bet. Let's keep fucking over everybody else. They don't care.
That's why it's only like what? Not even 100 billionaires in the world.
Yeah, they're the ones running
They
shit.
don't give a fuck.
Well, and that's the only thing. That's the thing that gets me too. That's just what's documented. There's got to be already a trillionaire that, or like whoever.
Bro, there's all kinds of
just,
illegal money going on
the
around
Forbes
here.
list, that's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, that Forbes list, like everybody's not giving out their full
Hell no.
financial information.
if you have that much money, why would you want the world to know?
Exactly. I wonder the same thing. Like, I don't even know.
wouldn't.
It's not even nothing. Like,
'Cause
and
it's
so
not
many
liquid.
people are enamored by being rich and being successful. And especially in the black community, it's like, you see the rappers, they got their cash on them, they got their chains, they got their everything. You know what I'm saying? Their bags, their designer clothes, everything. You know what I'm saying? And in
The
reality,
things that are supposed to portray wealth, though, wealthy
Yeah.
people actually know that actually
Not.
diminishes your wealth.
exactly.
Mhm.
Wealthy
Exactly.
people aren't carrying those things.
Exactly.
They're not.
Gucci's best customers
The
are the
truly
paycheck to
wealthy people are
paychecks.
not carrying those things, and that's the truth.
It's real. Because
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
why
the
Bill Gates
real
working on
billionaires,
Mhm.
you can't go get $1 billion in cash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, why would they want that
Nobody
anyway?
gets $1 billion in cash. Where the real money is assets and liability. Like anybody who took an accounting class will tell you, like it's assets minus liabilities
They want and
is
a
what the
lack of
formula is.
liquidity to hold.
Right.
Like I mean, they could sell some stock right quick and get some liquid cash, but
But $1 billion?
yeah, not
Nah.
just yeah. Hold up, let me just get a billion real quick. What do you
You
need
can't go to the
$1 billion
bank and get a bit.
for?
You can barely go to the bank and be like, yo, give me $1 million.
Yeah,
Banks
you
don't even
gotta
be
call
having
like
$1
a
million
week
on
ahead.
them.
You gotta
Yeah.
call.
You know what
Man,
I'm saying?
we're not
Like,
gonna do fractional reserve banking because I think that's fucked as it is, but it's a necessary evil, I guess, is what they told us. But I'd have to research more
Just
into that
open
one.
up a Swiss bank account. Call it all good.
Hey, just don't get caught at Benihana. Fucking
It's not my
Wolf of Wall
fault. I'm
Street.
innocent.
Benny
oh my
fucking
gosh.
Hanna. That's what took me down.
Oh my God. That shit
Shit.
crazy though. Like, people don't understand. Like, and then that's the other thing too is you got to realize we're in a day and age where this is not the 90s or the 80s or the 70s or the 60s. The technology nowadays has advanced so much. And I don't know if I forgot what that show was called, but it was a show on either Netflix or um one of the streaming services where they was basically talking about these crimes that people was getting away with, dark web and shit like that.
You
And
talking about Ross Ulbricht, the guy that made the Silk Road?
no, this dude was scamming on the black web. But the way that he got caught was like the FBI had this technology where they could really tell, even if you was living in a fucking apartment building,
Was it the guy
which
who was scamming women? Is that who you're talking about?
they was doing like
Okay.
they was doing tax fraud, and they was basically going through all the states, going through the death certificates
Oh,
and getting
shit.
the dead people's social security numbers
Man, that's fucked.
and going through and filing the income taxes, and they would real deal get a return. You know what I'm saying?
Fucked.
Like through tax fraud. And so basically the way the dude got caught was because he was smart about the way that he did it. Everything was done in person. Like nobody knew what was really going on. He would have people, because, like I said, you can't go to the bank and be like, give me $1 million.
Yeah.
So he would have like different crews and stuff go to the bank, and that would be their job, was to go to 10, 20, 30 ATMs, swipe the card, get the maximum amount of money off the card, and then they would send it to him in the mail, cash. And basically the way that they found him, they caught up to him one time, and he was at the bank, but he had ended up getting away and got on a train, and they knew where the train was going, all the stops, and they basically just used this technology to where they could pick up cell phone calls and then basically pinpoint it to like the actual door in the
Like,
freaking apartment
triangulate his
building.
location.
And that shit is illegal. That shit is illegal. Fourth Amendment rights, like that shit is illegal. The government shouldn't have that much access. So he ended up getting like this super light sentence because of that,
Yeah.
because he was going to file a motion on it. And they ended up saying, nah, we'll just give you this great plea deal, which is most of the time what the prosecutors do
Yeah.
when they're about to lose case. And but it's like with all this, back to the original point, with like with all this technology and shit that they have access to, if you think that you're doing anything in secret, you're dead ass
Man.
wrong. Dead ass wrong.
Dude, so Fourth Amendment, right? That goes to the classic, the one that always gets me on the Facebook videos or whatever, if it's body cam footage, because everybody's seen those,
Yeah.
where it's the if you don't have anything to hide, might as well let me search, but
Fuck that.
it's like, well, literally, I'm not saying I'm guilty. It's literally like, just don't violate my personal space. But they're like, so what are you saying? You got something you don't want me to see?
Yeah.
Like, that's probably gotta be like, that would piss me off if I was a lawyer. I'm not even a lawyer and it pisses me off.
But when you're dealing with someone in a position of power like that, like a cop, and you get pulled over, and you don't want them to search you, they'll say anything and they will. And I would believe it because I'm not well versed in all of the laws in that manner, or what
Yeah.
I can and cannot do. I mean, I have an idea, but if they could coerce me into saying certain things, they definitely could, and they would.
Yeah.
I mean, that's frightening to anyone.
Most confessions are truly
Forced.
coerced.
Do you
Like,
think body cameras have done better or worse for everybody?
I think the body cameras are good. You know what I'm saying? It allows for there to be less obviously if you got a body camera on and you turn it
Discrepancies.
on, then there's going to be less discrepancy on what exactly happened.
But then you turn them off.
Yeah, I was about to say, I just had a case where the officer didn't turn on his body cam.
So does that get
and
thrown
he was
out right
known
away?
for doing that. I wouldn't say it gets thrown out right away, but it's definitely an argument that you can make in court.
That
Like,
should-
why is this guy not turning on his body
what's he
cam
hiding?
in several different cases? It's because, like, the state troopers, if you ever been on I-40 or any interstate at that point, most state troopers are not really there for fucking traffic violations. They are drug interdiction officers, which means they are really trying to find that car
Traffickers.
that has a large amount of drugs in it, or any amount of drugs in it at that point, that's trying to traffic drugs from this place to the next. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's from Knoxville to Memphis or
Wherever.
Knoxville to Nashville or freaking Detroit. I-75 goes all the way up to Detroit, all the way down to Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, those officers aren't there to find the person that's doing 80 miles an hour. If they do, it's like, okay, well, that makes it look legit. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody that they pull over is not going to have drugs. But most of the time, and this is the thing about being a quote unquote criminal, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm weary on the way that I use that word because, speeding is a crime.
It's a civil infraction.
No.
Right?
It's a crime. It's under the crime code
civil
of
infraction.
Tennessee. No, it's a crime.
Oh, in Tennessee.
It's a crime. It's a crime everywhere to speed. That's why you have to go to court and get a ticket or pay a ticket.
So what's the
It's a
difference between
citation.
civil infraction and are they the same thing?
It's really the same thing.
Same
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could go into detail, but in reality, you could go to jail. Anytime the police pull you over for speeding, you can go to jail for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's criminal. And it's under the criminal code. So it's like, of course they find your speeders and stuff, like that's good for them because it makes it look legit. But in reality, they're just looking to get a drug bust. That's why they got dogs already in the car, all of that. Like they wanna find these people that are trafficking cocaine from Atlanta to Detroit. They're not looking for your grandma who's doing 75.
I hope
But
they're
back
not
to
looking
hold
for
on.
my grandma.
But the main point of it is that when you're in this criminal game or whatever you want to call it, you can't do two crimes at once. You can't be fucking hauling 10 pounds of marijuana, 100 pounds of marijuana, and doing 90 and a 70. You know what I'm saying? Like,
battles.
pick your poison, bro. If you got 100 pounds in the fucking trunk,
Not to the
do
speed
70
team.
and a 70. You know what I'm saying? Like 75 max. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Give you
wait.
enough time if you see him to pull over.
What is everybody? I've heard it since I started driving. Are quotas real? Pullover quotas?
I never worked for the
When-
police.
No, but I'm saying. Shut the I'm saying, but you know how everybody's always heard, oh, it's the end of the month. It's the end of the month. They're out heavy. So you think they're meeting a quota, or do you think they're just, it's the end of the month, let's fuck with some people?
I don't necessarily think that it's like an end of the month thing. More so, I think it's like a time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for instance, people have off work, what? Friday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Friday evening to Sunday evening. You know what I'm saying? Go back to work on Monday. So when are most people going to travel from A to B? Fridays and Mondays. I mean, and Sundays, excuse me. So, I've had clients before get pulled over on a Sunday and they be like, this is what we set out here and do on Sundays. We're waiting for you to come down the road
Hungover.
on a Sunday, going 85 because you're, like you said, you're hungover. You're trying to get back to your home or wherever. And you're doing 85 and a 70. And guess what? You got 5 pounds in the trunk. I'm just making up shit.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You got 5 pounds in the trunk.
Hypotheticals.
And
Lawyers live for hypotheticals.
guess what?
Man.
They want the 5 pounds. They don't want the 5 pounds. And I'm saying, with you to make it to your next destination. They want the 5 pounds. So guess what? We're going to sit out here every 20 miles on I-40 and, you know what I'm saying? We're going to catch probably 15 to 20 people with marijuana on them or heroin or cocaine or whatever. The biggest thing now is that I'm fighting for. It's like with the legalization of hemp and CBD and what is Delta 8.
Delta 8,
You know what I'm
Delta 9,
saying?
or Delta O, Delta,
Right.
all the deltas.
Whatever. All the deltas. All of it this flower still. The police and the dogs, they aren't trained on what's the difference between the smell of Delta 8
Versus Delta 9.
versus hemp versus
CBD.
that gas. Let's just keep it real. It's that gas. So how do they have probable cause since now that the deltas and the CBDs and stuff, since now that is all legalized,
It's all in the
how
same
can that
ballgame.
be probable cause or reasonable suspicion even if the officer is like, oh, I smell that. So that gives me the right to search your car. Like that's the big litigation that's going on right now. Cause it's like, if that's legal, then just the smell of it is not enough for you to be able to search my car or
So-
even stop me. You know
I've
what I'm
seen
saying?
Facebook posts you got about that.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm from Virginia. Virginia's legalized recreational marijuana.
Right.
But prior to that, you gonna love this one. Prior to that, 2 years prior to them legalizing recreational for adults, they decriminalized for just personal users. But on top of that, they made it a law that the smell of marijuana wherever is no longer, the odor of marijuana is no
Mhm.
longer probable cause.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that their court system was getting fucking jammed up with all this shit,
Yeah.
and people were sending stuff to the lab, and it came back. Oh, what is it? Under 0.08% THC,
Whatever
and
it
it was
is.
like 30% CBD. And you're like,
Mhm.
oh, this person actually has fucking like glaucoma or cancer,
Right.
and they use this so they can, because they have a shitty disease or
Mhm.
ailment, and they actually need it. But actually, really, you were like getting them locked up, putting them through this whole legal process. But the whole time, they had all this stuff mounted against them, and the lab results came back 30 days later, and then just so
Yeah.
much shit was getting dismissed left and right. But it wasn't getting dismissed without first you having to get a lawyer, you're paying court fees, blah
Yep.
blah blah. You're going through all these fucking legal loopholes or hoops, I should say. But in reality, the entire time you didn't break the law because you were following something that was contingent on the farm bill, which is federal.
Right. And
That's horseshit.
the thing is, I'm a big proponent of legalized marijuana and that the smell of marijuana shouldn't be a, probable cause to be able to search you or whatever. But, I would say that probably half of the criminal cases that I get is all of it starts out with I smell marijuana. You know what I'm saying? Like there are a few key words like that you get out of a police stop that it's like, damn, like why does every warrant say this? And it's because it's the key shit.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, so I don't know if y'all had this in Knoxville, but in Nashville they have a page, Instagram page called Scoop Nashville. Literally, all they do on this page, they got like 10,000 followers, whatever. All they do is post mugshots with the warrant information on it every time somebody gets arrested. If it's interesting, you know what I'm saying,
I got one
and
from
some of it be
gotcha.
yeah, something like that, yeah. And it's like it'll be an interesting story, but like you'll notice like patterns. You know what I'm saying? So every time somebody gets arrested for a disorderly conduct, you know what I'm saying, on Broadway or whatever, the it always goes the same way. It's always that, oh, they came out of the bar, they were drunk as hell, the police was talking to them, they couldn't tell what their address was, boom, they got arrested. Or they came out and they couldn't find a ride home, or they tried to go back into the bar after they already got kicked out. So boom, disorderly conduct.
Man.
Same thing with DUIs. They get pulled over by the officer instead of shutting the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? To be frank with it, like instead of just shutting the fuck up, it's always, I had a couple drinks. You know what I'm saying? Like I had two. You already fucked yourself. You already fucked me up. Whenever I get the warrant, you already said I had 2 drinks.
Congrats, you made your lawyer's job harder.
Exactly. Instead of just being like, I just want to talk to my lawyer. Like I would
Yeah.
prefer to answer these questions with the guidance
Some
and
counsel.
assistance of counsel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of, but so many people are narcissistical and they think that they can talk their way out of anything. And especially when you're drunk, you know what I'm saying? Like you feel like you on
Like,
top of the
I'm
world.
God right now,
You
bro.
got the
Like,
confidence. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? It's like, nah, dog, shut the fuck up and just let me handle this later because
Hey, money ain't tight.
a lot of these other situations, like you got to notice when the police say DUI or this person was drunk, what are the other things that go with it? Watery eyes, red eyes, you know what I'm saying? Low eyes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Slurred speech, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, well, the slurred speech, if you would just be quiet and it was just red eyes and lower eyes, well, guess what that's a symptom of?
Being
Allergies,
Allergies.
tiredness,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Just got off.
All
Or
kind,
late at
yeah.
night, you'd see that.
You
you'd
feel
say,
me?
Night
"Hey,
shift.
You've been driving for 8
1 in the
hours.
morning. I was tired."
And
Exactly.
of
Long
course, my
weekend.
pupils were looking different when my eyes have been in darkness the entire time, and you put a flashlight.
Exactly.
But they just talk too much to make an excuse.
Yeah. Then you
And it's
say,
like, yeah, now
"Oh,
you're
I
fucking
had 2
yourself up.
shots," or "Oh, I had 2 drinks," and it's like, man, you just corroborated
Drink
their
water.
whole theory to where this other stuff that wouldn't even necessarily be related to being
Gotcha.
drunk. It's like, exactly, gotcha.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I'm
many people
saying?
will just start talking when someone pulls them over.
Oh
though.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
People
you
will
get
just
nervous.
talk. People will tell you everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what's the difference between a DUI and a DWI?
It just depends on what state you're in.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
'Cause I always thought it was like if you were on like drugs driving, one was one, and then if you were drunk, one was the other.
Well, I mean, DWI is normally like driving while intoxicated versus DUI is like driving under the influence.
Yeah.
Some states just, you know what I'm saying, there's no reason for them to make separate statutes as to alcohol versus drugs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just all different.
I thought it was they just kept it general because if it's not a legal commodity or substance, then they don't necessarily have laws against it other than like possession. Is there a law in Tennessee that says you like per se can't smoke weed, or is there just a law that says you can't possess weed? You know,
Nah, it's just possession.
so that's what I'm
It
saying.
can be in
So
your
is
possession
it-
and you never smoked before in your life.
yeah,
It's
which is-
things
that's
called
crazy.
it's stuff called
crazy.
constructive possession. You know what I'm saying? So
Like, if
like
it's in your reach or whatever.
not even just necessarily in your reach. Like if it's in a common area, like we right here right now in the, you know what I'm saying, living room of where you live.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like obviously everything that's in your room is yours. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
let's say that they came in the door with a warrant, you know what I'm saying? And I'm in here right now with you and they came in right now and you had, a quarter pound of wax in your freezer.
But because
Like
it's in a
that's
common
that's a
area?
shared area. How do they know whether that's mine or Maddie's or Rob's or Will's or you know what I'm saying, your
Shout out
roommates?
Will.
Shout out to Will, you know what I'm saying? Or you know what I'm saying? Like how do they know whose is whose? You know, because if they walk in right now, like I'm definitely gonna be like nobody talk to them right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's something we take care of later. But in reality, it's like how do they know whose is whose? But they can charge everybody because it's in a common space, common area.
Yeah,
That's insane.
I've had a
Crazy.
buddy. I had a buddy have that happen where they were all in a car, but because he could reach it,
Yeah.
even though it was somebody else's car,
Yeah.
he got in trouble because they were like, "Well, because none of y'all directly said this is yours,
Right.
we're gonna just charge all of y'all."
Yeah.
So
And then how do that make you feel if you're in the back seat and that really wasn't yours? I mean, it'd be different if everybody's in there gonna smoke it. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like,
the
then
only
it's
thing-
like, oh man, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, that really wasn't.
What really
Wow,
pisses me off though is that there's no way these cops can feel good writing a ticket or writing up paperwork for like, yeah, I fucking took this kid to jail for 7 grams of weed today. Where instead you see they get home from their little shift and on the news like 15 people in their county died from fentanyl overdoses tonight.
Yeah.
Like, why does it seem like I get it, they still have to equally enforce the law, but why it seems so disproportionate from that? Like, do you feel like that as from cases you get?
Can we pause?
Yeah.
Can we pause?
All right, we had to take a little commercial break because we wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
but we were talking about or I was saying, is it weird of the disproportionate feeling of officers of the law enforcing something like trivial to me, like marijuana
Yeah.
versus a fentanyl case?
It's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really, because you can get a citation for having a quarter. Where people mess up is,
Also, wait, if you don't smoke or you're not hip to anything, a quarter is
7 grams of marijuana. Like, if you get caught with just a quarter of marijuana or anything under a half in Tennessee, like, that's just a misdemeanor and it's a citationable offense.
is that worth paperwork?
Like, no, that just means that they give you a ticket and they take your weed and then you show up to court
Oh, they
and
don't
get
even
a
arrest you no more?
no. Like, they were like, unless it's a
A lot of
felony.
nice cops will just make you throw it out.
Well, that too.
And
give
they'll
you a
give you
ticket
a
for
Well,
littering?
maybe you.
Exactly.
Maybe they will make you throw it out.
No, have that happen to me. Don't want
No,
that
no, no,
energy
no,
on
no,
me.
no. I'm not even saying like
I
from
knew
a
someone who that
standpoint
happened to.
of like, because you're a girl, you're pretty. Like, let's be real. Cops are humans too.
They're
You know
like,
what I'm
we want to
saying?
see you throw it away.
They're
Yeah, so I was
they're
gonna
like,
go
we don't
off
want to
this
see you ruin
earlier.
your
I was gonna
life.
say, so you were talking about state troopers and how they're looking more for people who are trafficking
Yeah.
state to state, right?
Mhm.
Well, I was coming to Knoxville and I was going like 102, didn't even realize it,
Mhm.
just flying, right? And I
Yeah.
get pulled over. I'm like, shit,
Right.
immediately heart dropped to my butt.
Right.
Even if you're not doing
I
nothing
got
wrong.
Nothing
out,
wrong.
not a ticket. He let me off.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm just headed
Yeah.
back to Knoxville. I'm going home.
Yeah, but he
And he
wanted
was
to
like,
get you off.
okay,
Happens all
but
the
that's
time.
just crazy. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Like, I mean, and it's nothing like, I'm not trying to be sexist or anything like that,
That's
but
just
but you
it's
really
just
think
human
that
nature.
happens more
Future
than
said
not?
it's the evil
It's the
world.
same way as if I go to the bar, you know what I'm saying, and I'm, you know what I'm saying, drunk or feeling myself or whatever, and I buy a round of shots, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I will buy a round of shots for like some pretty
that's
girls, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like, it's the same way,
Goes
like,
back to saying
it's
life
human
isn't fair,
nature, you know what I'm saying,
That's
like,
just
yeah,
it.
exactly, like, people aren't always, you know what I'm saying, going to be treated the same. And it's not necessarily a race thing, and it's not necessarily always a gender thing, but just like
Time and
people,
place
yeah,
almost.
time and place, and people like what they like, and
I
you know what I'm
mean, we've even
saying?
caught ourselves treating people differently based on certain things,
Yeah.
whether that be how they carry themselves, appearance,
For sure.
Or
For sure.
how inebriated or uninebriated
they are, or you
Yeah.
are.
Or you are.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
drunk people, well, you're
If
sober
I'm
and they're
sober,
just dumb drunk, that they're
you-
falling,
I feel
tripping,
uncomfortable.
stumbling,
If y'all came into my house, shit house, and I was dead sober, I would, and like we're all friends, I would
Kick us
still
out.
be pissed at y'all.
Nah,
if
he ain't
you
gonna
were
kick us
acting a
out. He-
fool, you
Okay,
know?
we got a ride home. Got an
Yeah.
Uber. Kick our
I
asses
have
out.
to babysit, and like I'm like, these are my friends. They're grown as hell.
Yeah.
Like
I think we're at the
same-
point in our life though where if we're babysitting our friends, it's
They ain't my friend.
unfortunate. It's like,
You
really,
think
we're
so?
still doing this? I think,
Well,
if
all the
it's
time.
You think
if
so?
it's an all the
All
time
the
thing,
time.
if it's a once in a blue
Okay.
moon, or
Okay.
everyone has those moments
Okay.
still. It does
Yeah.
not matter. But if it's regular, it's
Yeah.
consistent,
Yeah.
It's like you're just banking on me to take care of you.
it's like, why are you getting
Yeah.
this fucked up? You should be drinking to be, having a good time, not to be absolutely hammered to where you don't remember your own names. Unless that's what you want.
Well, I mean,
I'm so inquisitive that I'm like, why is he or she getting that
see how
fucked up?
much I can. No.
Well, that too. Like,
It's
you know what I'm
amazing.
saying? Like, I never drank beer.
Ooh, big beer girl.
Really?
Miller Lite.
I know you
Loaded
drink
Miller
beer.
Lite.
I've known you forever.
I'm a beer guy.
It feels like forever. And I haven't even known you forever, but it feels
we've
like
probably
forever.
known each other 4 years now.
Like, yeah. But like, you know what they say, like, though, right? Like, about day ones. It's like either you're a day one from like my day one or like the day one that I met you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think both of y'all, like, I met you today.
No, like, no, this
It's
is
like,
a guy I could have
you
in
are
my
like,
life and
yeah, you know what I'm
keep
saying?
around.
Like,
He's a cool guy.
day
and
one.
I,
You know what I mean? But
he's
I don't
a-
drink beer though. You know what I'm saying? But y'all two drink beer.
Yeah, beer's
And it's like,
beer's a hell of
it's
a
okay.
drug.
Most of my friends don't drink wine in the manner that I do, but
Yeah.
that's my drink of choice.
Nah.
She got me onto
9
the
times out of
wine
10.
wave more than
What you drinking?
I
What you
never
drinking
hated
these days?
wine, but like it wasn't what I would be like. Oh, you know what? Wine tonight.
Yeah.
You know,
Nah.
it would just be a matter of fact type deal, like Wine Wednesday or something.
Mhm.
But now it's like, oh, it's
My
Tuesday.
favorite part is
I can go
hearing
for a
all
bottle
the
of wine.
guys start drinking wine and they're like, "I feel sexy." They're like, "I feel like a hot bitch tonight." I'm like, "Yes, you do, boys."
That's like every drunk being a different type of drunk.
Wine kind of gets me fried. Like I'm like,
Mentally, physically, emotionally, I mean, what are we talking here?
Oh,
We're all
shit.
of
what
the
do they say?
above.
She
D,
opened
all
up
of the
your soul
above.
right now.
We
It's-
gotta know.
No, because it's just like it's just like I don't know. It's just so relaxing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the type of relaxing that like you know what I'm saying. Like I'm fried. Like I'm real deal. Just like
It's different.
couch potato.
Quickly.
It's different.
It's
You know
a
what I'm saying?
happy
It's not
drunk.
like a yeah, exactly. It's
It's
not
very
a
happy.
Happy-go-lucky type
it's
deal.
not like
Very
an
just
alcohol like
smiley.
just belligerent, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's just more like a like I didn't drink a whole bottle of wine before and just felt like
I'm
you
nice
said,
right now.
sexy and just like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just vibing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and so but I drink some wine, I drink some liquor and mixed drinks or whatever, but
It's water.
yeah.
It ain't water.
Just
but
water and
Y'all had to
tequila.
learn till this point. It ain't water.
but
We just seen if y'all
Everyone
listening.
handles their alcohol
Differently.
and their tolerance differently.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a very high tolerance for all substances, and I think some
Mhm.
of that was inherited from my dad.
Also, you dirtbags, she's not talking about like meth. It could be like ibuprofen. Everything's a substance. If it affects you chemically, it's a substance.
Absolutely.
Very
Don't
good
limit
point.
yourself. Don't limit yourself to, oh, that means she does heroin. No. No. If
Nah.
she's saying substances, like it could literally be like, oh, I have to take 2 Claritin instead of 1.
Yeah,
If she
like
was
when
doing
I was
heroin, she'd be
getting surgery
asleep.
on my
Right.
finger, I had
I'm
the
explaining to the
anesthesiologist
internet.
had to like they're like, "Why aren't you out yet?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "I don't know. Am I supposed to be out?" They're like, based on what we gave you, yeah."
Yo, when
And they
they
had to come in and give me more.
Yo,
So it's like one
when
of
I got
those
my
things,
wisdom teeth,
substances.
when I got my wisdom teeth out, they had to give me like double the amount of what is it, anesthesia?
Yeah.
Because my grandfather, he had like a genetic predisposition to like resisting, like I wouldn't even say like opiates, but like downers, like stuff that's supposed to like
Yeah.
for surgeries and stuff. They would always have to give him extra because he was just quote unquote what they would call a fighter.
See, stuff like that is crazy because when my brother comes out of anesthesia, he's allergic to it, and they didn't know this until obviously after the
That's a
first
bad
That's
time.
crazy. Oh
But he'll come out of
God.
it. He's swinging, he's violent, and
my
it's not
God.
him, but he'll
Yeah.
come out of
Yeah.
it because he's allergic to
Yeah,
it.
if you're
Swinging, fighting, punching. So they have
Oh,
to tell the
God.
nurses if he's
Yeah.
going in, hey, this is what's going to happen.
It's
But
scary.
it's crazy that your body can take a substance like that
wake
and then
up with a
produce
charge.
that,
Mm.
reaction.
Wake up with a
It's not
charge.
my fault, I swear.
I went in for a simple procedure. Why am I in jail?
Yeah.
Uh,
But that's why like 0.08. Everybody knows what 0.08 means,
Yeah.
right? BAC. It's like why it don't make sense. Cause like your 0.08 is different than my 0.08 is different than her
Absolutely.
0.08.
Oh, okay.
No?
One more thing before we segue into House Dad Miles. Have you ever seen? It was a crazy case I read about. This guy actually had some type of completely different genes,
Mhm.
and his body actually naturally made alcohol.
Mm.
So he got pulled over coming home from work on like a Wednesday, completely sober, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But one thing led to another, just kind of like how you said, people tell on themselves. Dude wasn't even actually telling on himself.
Mhm.
The officer was like, concluded you're drunk. So,
Yeah.
and because the guy was like, I'm not fucking drunk. I blew for a breathalyzer, and it says it says he's shit house like
Yeah.
3 times over the legal
Yeah.
limit. Gets to court, blah blah blah. Wasn't actually drunk the entire time. Ends up fighting it. It took like 2-3 years. Ends up fighting it, and some doctor, it was like a gastroenterologist, actually ends up coming to court with science, like research, their data that they came back with.
Yeah.
This guy is one of the like few anomalies in the world. His body makes ethanol
Yeah.
because of the enzyme reaction in his liver, I believe.
Right. Right.
And I know that's like a fringe case where it's like it's super isolated, But
Right.
stuff like that is also just nuts to me where it's oh, do you probably hate this on case by case basis.
But I would have blown if I knew I was completely
And that
innocent as
Yeah.
and
well,
that's
you
a
know?
Yeah.
You're not thinking, "Hey, let me call my lawyer," You're like, "I'm innocent.
yeah.
I'm gonna prove to you I'm innocent," where
Let me do the
obviously
proving
that
for
does
you.
screw you in the
And
long run,
and the
but
whole time,
still.
yeah, the dude just thought he was like, whenever I've drank, like I've never gotten drunk. Well, yeah, it's because the entire time he's been alive, his body has been
Was he aware of
self-producing.
this
Right.
No,
before? So,
no,
you
and
know
that's what I'm saying. It's a case where it's not necessarily a cop taking advantage of a situation, but it's also lack thereof information on both parties.
Yeah.
Where now it's one, I guess long term, it's good to know that the guy knows his body makes alcohol, so if he drinks, he's more responsible or whatever
Right.
the fuck. But
ooh, that's an interesting
so
topic. So if he drank, does that add to
I
his
I couldn't remember off the top of my head,
Here.
but I'd imagine he probably could drink anybody under the table because
Oh
he
yeah.
had a permanent tolerance.
Definitely.
insane?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. It all goes back to the same points. You know what I'm saying? What we put in our heads and what we get from, media and different TV shows, right? So for instance, like a big TV show about like scientific evidence is like
Keep going.
CSI and, NCIS, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they make you feel like the science is just 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like these shows like CSI and NCIS and the Law and Orders and stuff where they do and get scientific experts
Fingerprints
and
and
stuff,
everything.
fingerprints and all that shit.
Mhm.
And they like, yo, and they put it in the mind of like the same 12 people that would be on a jury that this scientific evidence is 100%
Yeah,
packed. Like
like
it's 100% means this, like 0.08, 100% means that somebody was under the influence. When in reality, science is really all just theory. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like
So
everybody
maybe
learned the
the
scientific
lawyers are really
method,
just
right?
fighting a lost cause at this point because it's
I'm
the
telling you,
law that
yeah.
needs help. It's not you. You guys
It's
are
not even
fighting
just the
against
law.
yourself,
It's like
truly.
the image that people have of what scientific evidence is. Like it's people that were wrongfully convicted because there was these scientists that were saying, "Oh, the bite mark on this person's body matched up with your teeth."
yeah.
But the whole method of getting to the conclusion that it matched up with your teeth was bullshit.
Or also, how long has that scientist been doing cases for so and so? Is there a kickback, whether it's monetary
Same.
or, and
Yeah.
not even like an agreement? It could be literally like, oh, like you got admission to the country club or something.
But what's the threshold for bringing
Yeah.
legitimate evidence into the courtroom and being able to use that in the
Subjectivity.
case?
I mean, it's supposed to be reliable. It's supposed to be stuff
Keyword
that's
supposed to be.
yeah, it's
Subjectivity.
supposed to be stuff that's reliable, stuff that you can say is scientific or whatever. But again, it goes back to the same thing. Like science is just a theory. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a, what the old saying is: if the glove doesn't fit,
You
you
must
must have quit.
acquit.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not a
Shit.
one size fit all though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
maybe when they're gathering this evidence, they're looking for evidence in a manner that they're trying to get the conviction, not
Well,
trying to find
That
the
too.
so
true
That
answer.
too. That's what they're
and
getting paid to do.
You
and
know?
yeah, so they're collecting evidence on the basis that the person's guilty,
So they
not
already
that
have a
there's an
skewed
outlier.
they have a skewed outlook if they're
Yeah.
doing that. They're
Come on
not
now. It's
looking at the
bias.
big
Yeah.
It's
picture. They're not
bias.
looking at the whole thing.
But there it has to be
Bias from the
biased or
start.
they can't properly do their job.
Well,
And it's
everyone's biased to
improperly.
a certain degree. You have to be able to judge good from
Mhm.
bad. That's how you stay alive. That
Yeah.
is the human reaction.
Yeah.
Everyone has to have that ability, right?
Or you're fucked.
If you're not
We wouldn't be having this conversation because there wouldn't be our parents or
Yeah.
before that.
But it's easy for a regular person who, you know what I'm saying? Like it's easier for a regular person because they see these TV shows and they see, these whatever, and they think that science is just 100% all the time. And in reality,
and also they're
it's not.
forced to be there if we're talking about the jury. You
Yeah.
know,
Some people, I've seen people
they
fall
have to
asleep.
be there. So it's kind of like a
I
job to
almost
them. They're
got in
just gonna do
trouble
it and get
for
it
not
done and
going
then
to
be
jury
done with
duty.
it.
I almost got in trouble for not going to jury duty.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't end up having to go, but they just didn't know, or I just didn't tell them or whatever that I was in school here.
Right.
So I get it from Virginia. They're like, "You gotta show up," and like I literally like call them on one of the last days because since it took so long to get to me,
Yeah.
I'm tweaking like, oh fuck, like they're gonna send out a warrant to me, and I
Yeah.
call the dude and I'm like, hey, I'm in college, I can't like make this trip. He's like, oh, that's completely cool. Like, it was so lax about
Yeah.
it, but
I thought that was gonna happen to me one
I
time. Got a
was
speeding
tripping.
ticket and sat through the wrong court because I was in different counties. I was out on a back road, so I didn't realize what county I was in when I got the ticket. Sat through the whole entire wrong court, right? The whole thing. I was there for
You're like,
hours.
I'm not
I
on
was
the
like, they
docket.
haven't even called my name. This is so weird.
N-
I thought I was gonna get arrested or put in jail for missing my court date,
Yeah.
but they were chill about it. But when I went through, the judge, he yelled at me because I laughed because he was like, "You were going like 84 and a
So
55."
you got a speeding problem because this is your second story about.
I will say I have a lead foot. Thank you,
Okay.
Terry. That's
Put it
yeah,
in
no.
reverse, Terry.
Well, also though, in my car, you don't even feel like you're going as
What
fast as
kind of
you
car
are,
you got?
and I think that's the problem.
What kind of car you got?
Volkswagen Passat.
Okay.
Like, my sister has a Jetta, and hers does the same thing.
Yeah.
I
Are you sure
swear.
it's not
No,
genetic lead foot?
I think it's a mixture of the 2, but I swear you're like there was one day I was driving down the freeway, like, going out to Farragut. I looked down, I'm like, "Why is everyone going so slow? This
You're like,
is crazy." I'm
oh,
like,
that's me.
Speed limit
"I was
is kind
going
of slow from here
92."
to.
Like,
Type
who does
type
that?
slow.
But I
Yeah.
didn't even realize it. Like, that's just
Hey,
ridiculous.
we back on Knoxville. Okay, I want to know how did someone become a house dad for a fraternity? And you were in Sigma Nu too?
Nah, nah,
No, you
no.
just were a house dad.
I was.
So how does that happen?
Were you in a
Especially
fraternity before that, though?
No,
Okay.
no. I was the
even
only.
more reason to be curious.
To the extent of fraternity life, the only thing that I knew, because I had a lot of friends when I was in undergrad at UT that were, either on the football team, basketball team, whatever. Um, and so the extent of like my fraternity life experience up until then was just, going to parties with football players or whatever. But
Standing around with your shades on, look cool.
I
Let
no,
all
I,
the
didn't-
ladies come
I
up to
wasn't
you.
really a stand around guy. I really got to know. So I
Nah,
really
he's a
got to know
stand-up
the
guy.
people.
That's what I
I
appreciate.
really got to know the people, some of the people at least, and I made some friends. And it was crazy because then when I went to law school, it was one guy that was a year older than me that was in law school at the time, and I was, we were friends, and he told me that where he lived and what he did, he was the house dad for a fraternity, and so in my mind, he told me, he was like, yo,
Sounds like a
I
gig.
don't, yeah, I mean, yeah, he was like, yeah, I live for free. I don't pay rent. What I'm saying? I get food for free every day. Like, he was like, really, it's a cool little gig. You know what I'm saying? I live on campus, so it's not like a long walk to class or anything. Like, everything's cool. And so when I heard that, I'm like, economically, I'm like, well, shit, I don't want to pay rent and I don't want to have to pay for food.
You don't have to
You
be
know what
an
I'm
RA in
saying?
a
Yeah.
dorm.
Exactly. And so I was like, we went to a party with one of, my friends that was in Sigma Nu at the time. And, I just asked him, I was just like, yo, do y'all have an opening for like this type of position or
Mhm.
whatever? And he was like, yeah. Or no, I don't think he said, yeah. He was just like, let me check. And then when he checked, they was like, yes, open. And you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, I'm in law school, blah, 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 blah. Like, can you pass my resume along? And then I had got the interviews or whatever. And of course, you kind of got those people that it's like in the back of your mind, it's like, oh, you're African American, like you're not a white person going into this role, like you don't know how,
It's
like we was
different.
talking about
Yeah.
earlier, like stereotypes, like they try to
People would
put
judge you on appearance.
everybody into a stereotype, like every white person got to be racist or whatever,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? I just don't believe that. And
Mhm.
so
You
I
call
ended
us.
up getting
No,
getting interviewed and got the job, and man, like I'll say this, like that was probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life because I made genuine friendships
I
out of that
saw that.
role.
I saw that. That's how
You know
we
what I'm
met.
saying? Yeah.
That's how we met.
Like I met you through one of them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It was
Through
either
Mason. Shout out my
Mason or
boy
Joe.
Mason. Yeah. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I really did make some genuine friends, people that it wasn't just like, oh, you know,
Whoop wop.
let's go party or whatever. It was more like, yo, like you my guy. I'm your guy. I'm here for you, whatever you need. And of course, it helped being in law school and some of the situations that we had went through, with police coming through at just all hours of the night trying to check the houses or
Yeah,
whatever. And I just knew that I was always gonna ride for them because I would want them to do the same for me. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I made some genuine friendships and we had fun. And I was in law school and we had fun. And you know what I'm saying? It kind of just felt like it was just a couple extra years of undergrad. You
Huh.
know what I'm
I get
saying?
that.
Like just like a good time. But also at the same time, like I realized that I had those responsibilities too. And I was gonna look out for them at
Yeah,
the
and
end
you
of the
got
day.
to whether you see it this way or not, you directly or indirectly mentored a lot of people.
I was
Oh yeah.
just
Whether
about to segue into
yeah,
that and ask, did you enjoy mentoring those boys? Because you really were. I'm sure a lot of those boys looked up to you in a fatherly way or a brotherly way.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the older brother they never had.
I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, I tried to keep it. I don't think that I had the fatherly relationship with anybody just because I was so close to their age.
Yeah,
It was some seniors that was when I first started, I was just in my second year of law school. So I was only 23.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you're
And so it was seniors in the fraternity, fifth year seniors, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, that was 22, 21, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But as far as mentorship goes, like, yeah, for sure. It was definitely, when they're pledges, they're around the house more than your third, fourth, fifth year people that are in the fraternity. And it was definitely bonds, even now, like where I'm staying at when I'm in town right now. Shout out my boy Colin. That, he was a freshman when I first was the house dad. And it was just like, I don't know what it was, but we just kinda had this bond where
Yeah,
it was like, "That's my little brother."
and it's
Like,
probably
I
more
really
so,
did, like, that's
mo-
my little brother.
and more so because it wasn't like a formal. Like you didn't just show up. You weren't just like I'm your mentor. You
I
know
hate formal
that
mentorship.
that. But that and that's what I'm saying. That's why it
It's
works
gotta be
so
genuine.
well. That's why it works so well because it's just like this is like it we could be enemies, I'm gonna be
Mhm.
your house dad for the year or
Yeah.
whatever. But just so matter of fact, like, yeah, we got shit in common and we just start shooting the shit, and next thing you know, they're watching you because you got a little bit more years in terms of experience. They're like, oh, this is what not to do, this is what I should do, this has worked for him, and this hasn't worked for him.
Some of them wanna be lawyers,
And
and
then
they call me to this day.
and then also too, you're like, this kid's showing me shit too.
Yeah.
That
Oh, come
like
on now, like, you gotta realize, bro, and
anybody can teach you anything.
I work in corporate America. I'm the only young black person at my office. There's one other guy that's older, and he started after me. Um, it taught me, you know what I'm saying, how to deal with no offense, but like how to be in a room full of white people all the time.
That's no offense
I love
taken.
it.
Bro,
It's
you know
You know,
true.
how
I
hard it is
love
for
being in
me to
any
be in a
room.
room full of white people? No.
The worst is to be around people who you watch them change when people of color come into the room. I've been around girls
Code switchers?
Yeah,
who a group of black girls will walk in, and this is a group of white girls hanging out, right? These white girls will approach them in such a and I'm not gonna say ungenuine because I don't think that's what it is. They just don't know how. They
yeah,
they won't just approach them like another
Yeah.
human. It's like they're gonna treat them like they're different.
yeah.
Immediately, those girls are gonna be like, "What the fuck? This white girl tripping." I mean, why wouldn't you? Because it's like I would feel the same way when people come up to me and they don't treat me as just another
Yeah, if
person,
you're
you
acting out
know?
a
I'm
character,
like,
It's
uh,
already in
yeah,
somebody's
yeah,
mind. It's
exactly.
their mind. People' mind have been made up by their surroundings throughout their life. For me, I had a white mom growing up. I didn't have a dad growing up. It's just my single, excuse me, white mother. So when I go into a room full of white people, like I don't feel uncomfortable because at the end of the day, like for somebody who was raised by just straight up black parents who sees on the news and on social media and everything every other day that black people get killed by white people or by white racist cops or whatever, or racism Karens or whatever, they automatically have this picture in their mind of how the white person should act. But for me, being raised by a white mother, I always knew that white girls like me. And you know what I'm saying?
Show those
Like,
pearly whites,
and I knew
baby.
that
no
I
no thanks for
loved,
that
you
one.
know what I'm saying? I
It's a
knew that
little smile with the eye
Hey,
glistening.
shout
white
out
people
white women.
love, you know what I'm
Hit up
saying?
Miles. You know where to find them.
But white people in general, you know what I mean? Like I knew that I could get like white people have love for the people that they love. It's not necessarily that white people just don't like black people. It's a lot of white people out here that don't like the other white people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
It goes all ways, though. It's just
Yeah.
about being a human
Racism
It's
being.
about being a
is-
human
people
being and knowing
stop,
people,
like, putting
content
people
of the
on a big
character.
stop.
racism is
Ugh.
taught.
Yeah.
Racism is
Yeah.
taught. You don't just have that in your genes. You're not just you don't
No.
just like wake up and you're like, wow, like, I
No.
really don't like them.
I worked at a daycare when I was in undergrad, 4 years. I worked at a daycare that was
Trooper.
6 weeks to 5, 6 years old. So little
Wow.
kids, you know what I'm saying, for 4 years. And dude, them kids loved each other.
Yeah.
Would they get to fighting and stuff over toys and stuff? Yes, bro. But it would be, you know what I'm saying, the kid whose parents was a lawyer or whatever, hanging out with the kid who parents was, you know what I'm saying, getting vouchers to be able to go to the daycare from the state.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was hanging out, loving on each other, hugging each other every day, inviting them to the birthday parties and everything. And it just showed I mean, I always knew that because I'm
Mhm.
black and white, but I always knew that it was like that, but it really showed me like that's really how it is. It's like racism really is taught.
It's
Like,
taught.
because at the very beginning, they don't care. They just kids. They just have fun. They don't care what you look like or how you look or whatever. It's just like, you three, I'm three. Let's play outside. We on a, you know what I'm
Got a
saying?
big
We on a
enough
swing. We running
imagination?
around
That's my
chasing
only
each other. You know what I'm
checklist.
saying? Yeah. It's no racism at that age, which
Right.
is something that I truly enjoyed
I wasn't
about working there.
exposed to true racism until I moved to the South, and that's the God's honest truth. I mean,
Mhm.
I grew up, like I said, with a lot of different cultures within my family,
Yeah.
and then a mosh pit where I grew up, California, Nevada,
Mhm.
I mean, you have everything. I
Yeah.
wasn't exposed to having that token black kid, that token Asian kid, that
Yeah.
token Indian kid.
Token
And
anyone.
it's true though, but people treated him differently.
Yeah.
And hearing the hard R for the first time, I
Mhm.
mean, not even understanding the severity of that
Mhm.
or where the hatred was coming from.
Yeah.
Yo,
Insane.
it's even as
Insane.
someone as white, it's still like if you just
No, it makes
like
my
it's
body like,
yeah, it's still like
because you feel the hatred. You
Yeah.
feel that like passion
Yeah.
coming from them. And you're like, but why? Because we're
Yeah.
all humans. We're here to do one thing.
and
Connect.
where did this come
Like to
from?
love
And none
one
of us are
another.
perfect. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like, I think we was talking about this earlier, kind of like, you know, going off on people or whatever, and just reflecting on it and like, was that really necessary? You know what I'm saying? And because none of us are really perfect, none of us always act perfectly. You know what I'm saying? And realizing that that's not just a race thing, that's not just
Yeah,
a
no.
gender thing or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, that's not
It's
something
just
that's
being a person.
yeah, that's just like being a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna always see me on my best day. Same way I'm not gonna always see you on your best day. You know what I'm saying? Same way over here. But it's like at the end of the day, like I have to step back and realize that like, oh, I might have caught them on a bad day. Like I might have asked for Maddie number after this podcast and she might say no. But guess what though? She added me on Be Real. So I might just comment that like 5 days later and hope that I catch her on a good day. You know what I'm saying?
Same page,
You got
different
more
book.
than most people do.
Same page, different book. Like we reading a different book. I'm on the same page in the sense that
Yeah.
I got my own bullshit to deal with.
Yeah.
You got your own bullshit to deal with. The book is different, but the context is the same in the sense that I still gotta jump through a hoop, like you still gotta jump through a hoop
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The hoop might be up here for you at this point in the book, and the hoop might be down here, but it's still some bullshit I gotta fucking do.
But you know what my law professor taught me though? One of them, he taught me that you gotta be grateful for the hoops that you've jumped through. Because guess what? Like everybody that's sitting at this table knows somebody who didn't graduate high school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody at this table graduated high school.
16 and
You know what I'm
pregnant or something
saying?
like that.
And then we know people who made it through that hoop and got to college, right? And you know what I'm saying? We had friends who got to college, but they was, you know, partying a little too much or doing whatever they had to do, pregnant or whatever that, they didn't make it through college, they didn't graduate through college. You know what I'm saying? And then, obviously for a law school student, like everybody didn't get into UT law.
Yeah.
But you did, but then, you graduate. And then you gotta look at it from that perspective of like, you know what I'm saying? Like people could say bad things about me or whatever, but like I done jumped through a lot of these hoops that a lot of people haven't jumped through.
But also ask yourself this question. Are you the same person you were 5 years ago,
Oh,
let
no.
alone 2?
Oh no.
So do those people from your past
no.
even know you anymore?
No. It's hard. Especially when you move back to where you're from.
They know a
because
You're like,
version of you,
damn,
right?
3 of
They-
y'all weren't strippers when I left.
and it's like it's crazy because I had a law school classmate that's a stripper.
Strippers.
Shout out to her. But
Throw them
it's
ones.
it's
Help
crazy
me
because
get
that is
strippers over
true.
here, everyone.
Oh, we love
That-
strippers.
Help me
we
get
do.
strip
I just
club.
don't like
We
when
do.
they don't like me.
We do. If they good strippers, they gonna like you regardless.
She's just not a
But-
good actor.
That's real though. Like when I moved back to Nashville, it was hard because I still talk to everybody, and you got to realize the profession that I'm in. You know what I'm saying? I'm not cutting nobody off. They
Yeah,
get
you're
in
not just
trouble. I
like,
want to
oh,
be
I'm
their
here
first call.
now. I can't talk to you.
But at the same time, and especially with social media and stuff, it's like, you know, in the time that I have, it's like I can't really hang out with you every day. You know what I'm saying? I can't really hang out with you every weekend. Like
Yeah.
I would come back to where I'm from. I live downtown now, but I grew up in the suburbs outside of downtown. And it's like I'll come home and see you, you know what I'm saying, when I'm at home. But in reality, like I can't hang out with you on a consistent basis. It's not because of you, but it's just because the road and path that I'm on and what path I'm trying to stick on. You know, they always say, like, if somebody's drowning and you're swimming and you reach down to help them without a life vest or whatever the lifeguards be having, like, you're going to drown too.
Hey, bro, hold
This
up.
is a great
Like,
segue.
hold the drown
So-
too.
Hold the fuck up.
Like-
Wait, I gotta do it. I've said it so many times. So one time, take way back when, wasn't that long ago, I blew Maddie's mind. We was talking about something very, very similar. And I said, when you're on an airplane and they say if the cabin depressurizes and the oxygen mask come down,
Mhm.
what do those flight attendants say? They say, put your mask on first before you help somebody else.
Right.
And it's because if you're suffocating, how the fuck are you going to help anybody else?
Exactly.
You literally cannot do that.
Yeah.
Like, because you go die, and then they ain't going to get help either, and they go die.
Exactly.
Like, same thing.
It's, bro, like, I have a lot of rich friends, people that are in the NBA, NFL, all of that, bro. And it's like, they will tell you, like, I can't help out my whole family. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some athletes and stuff
Yeah.
that become billionaire, LeBron James and stuff like that, that can really put on his whole team.
Yeah, 'cause,
his best friends.
I mean, he got
you
the
know what I'm
biggest
saying?
Nike deal in the
Like,
world.
he put on his best friends and they manage him and they do everything together. But realistically, every athlete is not LeBron James, and every athlete ain't gonna be able to pay to take care of their family, friends, cousins, all of that
Yeah.
for the rest of their lives. And so
But
you got to be
That
selective.
family should not expect that.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
is
Exactly.
not that person's job. That
I
should
agree.
not be an
No
expectation that
complaints.
they
I agree.
have.
Just
You
a few
should-
suggestions.
I
Yeah.
agree. But it's stuff that you can do
Yeah.
for your fam.
Yo,
you know
it's
what I'm
like
saying?
we all go to the gym when we can, right?
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about this a bunch too. Imagine if I waited for you to be free for me to go to the gym every
Mhm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be shooting myself in the foot,
Right.
Because your schedule is different than my schedule.
Yeah.
And if you waited, you were like, I'm only going if Rob go to the gym.
Yeah.
You would be cheating yourself.
Right. Right.
Same thing. Like if Maddie was like, all right, 5 a.m., I'm doing my cycling class. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not getting up for that. And
I
she's
work
like,
out
oh,
at hours that
did-
no one
did-
else
you know, like
does.
I didn't go today because Rob wouldn't wake up. No,
Mhm.
we can't do that to
Yeah.
ourselves. And that's when there's that discrepancy will happen when people will get mad.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, you ain't sharing this. It's like, bro, yeah, I can't just give you this shit. Like you don't even recognize that I earned the shit.
Yeah.
So
But but like, and you know me, like on Snapchat and shit, when I go to the gym, I try to share the hard work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not from a simple standpoint of like you were saying, I maybe can't go at the same time that you can, but we can still hold each other accountable. You
Oh,
know what I'm
just because you're not
saying?
at my table, I still want you to eat.
Right. Like you can see me on Snapchat and be like, and I do this all the time. Like, no
Same.
lie. Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. I'll
Same.
see somebody working out on there. I'll be like, ooh. You know what I mean? Like I have other friends who we're in a group message together, and they every day that they go to the gym, they put it on Snapchat and send it to the group, and it's like,
Hold me
oh,
accountable.
he went, I gotta go.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't put my video on here, it's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean?
Or if I don't post, someone will be like, you ain't go to the gym today? You're like, nah, I just didn't do it.
Exactly.
I just
People
didn't
gonna
post
hold
it.
you accountable if you
And that's
ask for the accountability for sure.
yeah,
For
exactly.
sure. But that's when you need
Don't
good
count
friends
on it
for that.
though.
It's like
Hold yourself
Kanye.
accountable.
It's like Kanye though. He's like he said, "What is it? I'd be worried if they say nothing." He said, "Everybody gonna say something. I'd be worried if they say nothing."
Right. Exactly. Cause it's
Same
like
shit.
Bro, it's so many Kanye lyrics that we could go down a rabbit hole.
What was that one he said?
With the Kanye lyrics, because it's so much stuff that he say that just kind of like
Resonates with you?
Yeah, because it's like, if you know Kanye, and a lot of people think Kanye is crazy, but Kanye is really just authentic. He just like authentic, and he's the ultimate definition of self-confidence. He has so much confidence in himself that he can say anything that he feel, because he know that, like, at the end of the day, like, to him, what he say in the one song, he was like, he was like, I don't need your pussy, bitch, I'm on my own dick. You feel me? Like, I don't need no bitch to be, excuse my language, I don't need no female,
she's
no
not
girl,
a bitch.
nothing.
There's bitches, there's women.
I feel that. I feel that. And I meant that in that way we was talking about earlier when I was like,
we're hip.
but I don't need no female to be out here like, oh yeah, you're so fine, you're so this, you're so that. Like, I got the self-confidence in myself. Like, I don't need you to be like, oh, you're this, you're that. Like, I know who and what I am.
But I already got
you know
it.
what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like, I know who and what I am.
Add fuel to my fire, but my fire already going.
Like, you feel me? Like, that's what it comes down to.
S'mores.
Put some WD-40 on that hoe. It's what is it? If you don't challenge your limits, you limit your challenges.
Right. Exactly, bro.
And that's it. That's all I got.
Mic drop.
I'm not dropping this mic.
That's real though. You gotta have that confidence in yourself. If you want to do anything in this world, you gotta have confidence in yourself. Like you can't expect nobody to love you if you don't love yourself, because the whole time that you're in a relationship.
But so many people are searching for love outside of themselves.
That's
because
wrong.
They
that's
can't
the wrong
give it
way.
to
You need to have capacity for reciprocity.
Why isn't this working?
You're never gonna be happy trying to find your happiness in somebody else though.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you're not happy with yourself, nobody else gonna be happy.
All right, and on that one, we're gonna close out because Will's got to get out of here. We're gonna do a second one. When are you gonna be back in town?
Yeah, I'll be back in like the end of October 21st.
All right, so before we do get out of here, if you want, plug your socials.
Yeah.
Anything else you got coming up? Anything you want to tell the world that you think that should be out on the internet that the world need to hear? Go for it.
Yeah, just follow me on Instagram.
He's got a big foot.
It's
You want to know what they say about big feet? Big socks.
It's what is it, Mr. Period? Take it to trial.
I don't even think it's a period in there.
I don't even see. Look,
hold on, let me look at my phone.
We're gonna pull it up right quick. Gotta keep the internet entertained.
We need some Jeopardy waiting music. Will you're slacking?
Yeah, it is a period. So Mr. Period, take it to trial.
Mr. Period, take it to trial. Instagram.
Spell correctly, and follow me on Instagram. Like, if you need anything legally related, like, just hit me up.
He's got you.
Or we think he's a cool guy. You just want to shoot the shit with him.
You know the white women. Where the white women at?
Oh look, you got a white woman vouching for you.
No, you can tell, guys. You can tell he's a chill guy.
Yeah, I'm cool.
But, hey, appreciate you coming out.
I appreciate y'all having me, man. For real, bro. I'm so proud of you, bro. Like, they don't know, but like we done known each other for what you said, like 4 years, and man, you've been talking about this, and we've been talking about getting this together, and we done finally made it happen. So I'm just proud of you, and you got all this professional equipment, and everything feel professional, and I can't wait to see where you go with it, because I know it's gonna go nowhere but up.
Hey,
you feel
it's
me?
not a if but a when.
I already know.
Stay frosty.